going to have to create a new one. Okay, now new design. I think you have to double click on design to actually, you have to double click on the one you want to actually create a new page. Okay, so now this is how your Figma looks like. Your Figma workspace looks like initially. Now you notice you have your toolbar, and then you have two panels on the left and on the right. Now these panels, on this layers panel, shows you what you're currently working on, and then on the assets panel it shows you all your components that you're working with. On this other side you have the design tab, you have the prototype tab, and you have the inspect tab. The inspect only gives you an opportunity to see the properties of a selected element. While on the design, you can choose to edit the properties of that selected element. Now, first things first, we have to start with our design. So, starting with our design, we need to create a frame. So, when you click on the frame icon here, the frame button, or you press the F shortcut, the F key on your keyboard, which is a shortcut, right? You can see a preset. You can see presets here. Because we are dealing with a mobile app, you can choose any one here with any of the phones here, but I'm choosing to use the Google Pixel 2 XL. So I'll click that one, and I'm here. Now, for us to actually get started, first things first, on your phones, you notice there's something called a status bar.
Sorry to cut you short. Hello.
Yes, I'm listening.
Please, is this video recorded? My network is very bad. I'm not on the same page with you. Okay.
Yes, it's recorded. It's being recorded.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So right now we are going to need a system bar or a status bar. So what I did was I go to the mobile wireframe kit here, mobile wireframe UI kit, come to Android handwriting, and this is a status bar. This is an example of a system bar. If you look in this layers panel here, you see it highlighted here, Android status bar. So I'm going to just copy that and paste it here, right? So I'm going to place that right centered and top of the frame. But then it doesn't fit my frame, so I'm just going to adjust it myself, and then it's here. Now, just so that my work is not clumsy and my screen is not clumsy, I'm going to create a new page. We have a page here. I'll rename this first one design, or I could choose to rename it wireframe, and I'll rename this one component. Right, so on my wireframe it's here, but my component page is empty. So I come to wireframe and I'll just choose to right click and move this to component. Right click and move that to component. Now it's no longer here, right? Now it's no longer here. So how do I access it again? How do I use it here? I come to my assets panel. You see there's a little arrow here after the local components, there's a little arrow here, and then I come here, it's here, and I drag and put it here. Click and drag, so it's back here. Sorry, I didn't mean to resize that. Then I center it and put it at the top. Then I come back. Then I've done that. Now, first things first. Say I want to build my sign-up page, because this is my sign-up page. I know what do I need. For me, let's say I need I need how many fields? Say I need full name, email address, password, and confirm password. So those are 4 text fields, right? So I'm going to draw my rectangle, and going to limit this to 40. The height is 40, centered, and because I want it to be divisible by 8, this for me is going to be 320, right? Center it, and then I'll make my border radius 8. Now, after doing this, I kind of noticed that this text box will be a little bit small, So I choose to increase it to 48, right? And I'm going to leave it there at 48. Now, I'm going to, well, before we continue, let's do a little bit of color, right? Now, because it's a wireframe, colors have to be minimal. So I'm just going to create a little rectangle here, and I'm going to change its color. I'm not going to use black, or I could choose to use black, but instead I choose to use gray, right? Let me just go back and see the color I used. Here. 81, 81, 81. Now I choose to use gray, and what I did was I clicked on the rectangle. Then on this panel, on the design panel here, the design bar, I choose to make my field 81, 81, 81 all through, right? So once I've done that, I create a new one. I click a new one, and I reduce the opacity to 80, and I create a new one again, reduce the opacity to 60, create a new one, reduce this one to 40, and I create a new one. I reduce this one to 20, right? Now, it might seem like we're done and we could just be using this all the way, but we shouldn't actually do that, because these are all shades of 81, 81, 81, or shades of gray. So what I do is I'll duplicate it, and then from here, this is already 81, 81, 81. I don't need to copy the color again. So from here, I click on this, use the eyedropper tool, and copy this color. Do the same thing for every other one. And then when I'm done, I can just easily delete this one, right? So I bring that close here, and then for my text field, say 48 is still small for me. I could choose to use 80. 80 is too big, so I begin to look for which size actually is accurate. For me, I like to use one divisible by 8. So I'm trying to look for which one suits me. Okay, 64 could suit me, but it might not necessarily be small enough, or it might consume too much space. So let's stay with 56, right? But then, if you put it this way, it really doesn't seem. It seems too much. It seems solid. So we're going to make that feel white, and then we are going to add something called stroke. Stroke is the outline. We add the stroke, and we change the color of that stroke to this one, which is 81, 81, 81, right? Now, because it's a text field, I'm just going to come here on my text field. I'm going to write text field, right? And I'm just going to make that 18. It's 18 here. I'm going to make it 16. And I'll put it right in the center of this frame, right? And then I'll try to find out how far is it from this frame that's on the inside, how far is it on the left side of this frame. So what I do is, after I've selected the text, I'll just hold down my Alt key and hover over the rectangle, and I can see it's 16 from the left, 18 from the top, it's 19 from the bottom. So align that. Now that it's aligned, now there's something I like using. It's called auto layout, right? In this case, I just select all this, the text and the rectangle, and you see auto layout here. Now, if sometimes we might not see auto layout, the shortcut for auto layout is Shift A, right? Shift A is auto layout. Now, when you see that, you've seen that this has happened, so I could just easily extend this now and make that 320 again. Now, what does auto layout do? Auto layout helps you to automatically arrange your objects or your element, right? So now when you create an auto layout, what happens here is you are seeing it changes it into a frame, right? It makes it a frame. So what I do is, after I've created the auto layout and it's now a frame, what I do is I make it a component. How do I make it a component? I click here, and you could come up here and see create component, or you could use the shortcut Ctrl-K. But Ctrl-K makes it a component. So instead of just leaving it as frame 1, I'll rename it and call it text field. And then I'll send that to my component page, and then come back to assets and drag it up and use it again, right? So now, what do I want to do again? I have 4 text fields. So you could choose either of 2 things. Either start importing again, or you could just duplicate this one. Now I want to duplicate it at 24 and Ctrl D to duplicate the rest. Now I've duplicated those. What else do I want to do? I want to create a button. How do I create a button? Same way, come to the rectangle tool, draw this. Say my button is supposed to be a maximum of, it's supposed to be a height of 48. I put the height of 48. But then this seems to be, I'll leave it like that. My border radius is 8. But then the color for this is supposed to be 81, 81, 81. Just for contrast reasons. And my text is here, so I call it the text on my right bottom, right? And I'm going to make this 18. Put this right in here. I'm going to make that color white. I'm going to fill it as white, and then I'm going to add auto layout. Right now, you notice something is happening here. It's not moving, right? And that's because of the layout, of the kind of layout that we use. So once you click on this, click on the auto layout again, it comes to this auto layout bar menu here, this alignment and padding. I'm going to make it centered. The moment I make it centered, once I do this, automatically resize it. Right? Does everybody get that? Has everybody gotten it so far? Please respond.
Oh, carry on, will they follow you?
Alright. So now I've created my button, and I want my button to be 48, and is 142 divisible by 8? Yeah, 144 is divisible by 8. I'm just going to create this here. I'm over here, and then okay, so it's supposed to be a sign up button, and I'm choosing to make my own sign up button very big.
So wait, so you have found way to put mathematics inside this thing, so
it's supposed to be sign up button.
we're solving fraction now, Abby.
Yes, so it's supposed to be very big.
So we'll be having...
Bolu is about to blow someone's brain off. He has brought mathematics into this drawing.
Oh, yeah, no, actually, in the tutorial I've been watching, there isn't calculator.
Okay, let me show you guys. Let me show you guys something now. On my own Figma, I have a plugin called Font Scale. So you click on Font Scale, it will load. But while it's loading, let's continue. Okay, look at it here. Font Scale. It shows you how you can use different fonts, right? Here I want to use font 36 now to start. Font 36. I see the different fonts I could use, the different font skills. So you see, before I learned of this font skill, I was using calculator to press 24 times 0.8.
Are you kidding me?
Just to know the perfect typography skill I'm supposed to use.
What kind of thing is this now? So I've entered mathematics class now. I thought we were signing up for design.
Jesse, don't worry. You have a partner. Don't worry.
I thought this design we signed up for.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Don't worry, I see. Alright, so now
Don't worry, go on, we'll go fast.
I've created the button, and my button, I'm choosing for my button to span across the entire way, right? so that it's literally visible. And well, what else did I do here? Okay, I didn't do anything. I just created the picture frame. So now to create a picture frame where people can upload pictures, you could just use the ellipse tool, and you hold your shift. They don't bring light, hallelujah. Sorry guys, let me plug my laptop so that.
Please do. It's very, very necessary.
So that battery does not go off. If not. Funny thing, I asked for a house. I asked for a house around my area, and they tell me say 500k, and light no dey constant. I can't even imagine wetin the 500k dey for. Okay, what's wrong? Alright, so let me increase my screen brightness now so I don't strain my eyes again. Yes. Alright. So now to create this, now you could create a circle and just move around. Okay, so now they are telling me that the meeting will end in 10 minutes time. Please, when the meeting ends, please join again. Can everybody hear me so?
Yeah.
Alright.
Voila.
Alright. So what we do is we hold down the shift key and draw a perfect circle. And me, I'm going to use which one is available by 8? I think 120. 120 by 120 is divided by 8. So I'm going to center that and here. And then I'm going to choose any of this color scale here. And I'm going to choose most likely this one. And there you go. The wireframe for your sign up page is done. Or if you're like me that like perfection, you can just group this and then center it. And then it's done. But we also have to be careful because you have to know the distance. Right? So this is 134. This is 134. Is 134 divisible by 8? That one.
Oh, but no, the ask us, I beg.
That one is story for the gods. Okay, now I can see that this one is 47 from me, and I want it to be 48. So I'll just move it up one and make it 48.
Voila.
And I just okay. So that's that for creating a sign up page, a wireframe sign up page, right? Now, if you want to do login page, if you're like me that don't like stress for your life, you just copy this and duplicate it, right? Since it's login page, just delete these two guys, delete this one, and just adjust your button. Okay, now you already have login page. That's all for login page. Okay. See, now I want to create home page. I'll just come here, duplicate my I'll duplicate my frame, and then yes, one thing I didn't mention was, look at you see the status bar here. Something happened because our design is supposed to be responsive. When you choose to resize this, you see the status bar does not change. How to do that is click here and you come to constraints, and under left we choose left and right, and remember it's at the top. So at this point in time now, when you resize, can you see it's responsive?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're supposed to do that and we didn't do that, so I'm just going to do that for these two, left and right. Yep. So I've done that. Now we move on to the home page, right? Now, for me here, I had this was my home page. How did I create this? Same thing, rectangle 2. I created a square first. Divisible by 8, obviously. So that's 144. Corner radius is still 8. And I duplicated it because I was going to have donor scoreboard. And then increase size. Two, 5. Although I think 5 is small, I'm just going to use 296. This one is supposed to be 4. Don't mind me, just perfectionism. And then next up, I included some text here. So I'm just going to come here, come to my text, grab my text tool, and I click and I type label, and then choose my style. Right, since it's going to be a header for me, I could choose to use 24 and make it bold. Right, now that I've done that, align it here. But there's something called styles, text styles, color styles, and stuff. So now, because I want this to be a style, I'm just going to come here. This is 81, 81, 81. I'm going to make it 81, 81, 81. That's the fill. And I'm going to come here under text. You see these three, this grid here. I click on it and I click style. Because I don't have any styles, you won't see nothing. You won't see anything here. So I just click the plus button to create a style, and I call this header. I'll call this text header. And I click on create style. Right? So now that I've done that, I'll just leave it. I'll make it close to that, and then I come here again and I create a, let's say, lorem ipsum. Now there's actually a plugin called lorem ipsum. You can install it from the Figma plugin community. So say I want just 2 sentences and I want to begin with lorem ipsum, just click generate. It automatically generates it for me. And this is very long. So I will change that. I will change the width to 300. It's still long. So what I want. So I'm just going to go back to the ipsum and change it to just 1 sentence. Okay, generate. Now it's here, right? Now remember, this is text header. The Figma automatically uses your previous sentence. So what I'll do is I'll unlink it with this button here, detach style. That detached now, no problem. And I come, then I would create a new one because it's just a body text. I'll make it 18, right? I'll make it 18, then change the color to 81, 81, 81. Then I'll come back here again and create a new style, and I'll call it body text. Right? Now, I want to now we won't do constraints yet. At least for now, we won't do constraints. We'll do constraints sometime later. But although it's been, let me just do constraints now. Now you can see this place that some spaces here, right? Now it's possible that if you change the text, it starts overflowing. So okay, we've not done the auto layout yet, so let's leave it that way. Now I need to change this body text. I made a mistake. The mistake was I left this as bold, and it's not supposed to be bold, right? And it's a body text. So what I do is I click out nothing, and I come to body text here, once you click out, once you are here, it shows you the properties of this particular text. But then once I click out and if nothing is selected, it shows me the general properties of what I have on my screen. So what I do is I come to body text, come to this settings panel here, edit style, and I remove the bold. I make it regular, and voila, it's regular here. So every body text I'm going to do right now will always be regular. I'm going to move it here again, and then I'm going to select all these three. That's the shape, the body, the header, the text header, and the body text. And I'm going to apply auto layout again, or Shift A. And then, because they were arranged, or they were originally arranged vertically, therefore it will automatically lay them out vertically. We stopped at after we auto laid them out, automatically. Now, because they were vertical, because they were arranged vertically, so it would automatically lay them out vertically, right? If you wanted it to lay them out horizontally, just come to this layout side here and click horizontal direction, and it will do that. But we don't want that. We want the vertical direction, and there is no space in between them. So here we are going to have the space between items, and I'm going to make that 8, and automatically that becomes 8 without any stress, right? Now, if you recall what I said about constraints, now if you look here, we can resize this. We can cause the resizing in the sense that here, when you look at this, it has a fixed width. But so that in this case now, if we choose to change the content of this, as a fixed width, right? But then you see this keeps going down. Instead, I'm going to change it to fill container, and this one too to fill container. So when I type something, it doesn't change. It doesn't live there. So you see, the container is there, but then this container does not extend downward. So at the end of the day, after everything, that guy will just disappear. Now that we have this, next up, we'll create this two. We'll make these two into auto layout. We'll auto lay them out again. Shift A for auto layout, and then we have this, right? Now the auto layout just helps you. It makes everything easier to lay them out. You know, to get your spacing and stuff. That's what auto layout is good for. So I'm going to center this. Not center them here. Now I see this is 46 and 45 on either side, which I don't like. I can just come and add padding here, add the padding of 8 on every side, and then I'll lay them out again. Now, after doing this, the next thing that I created for mine was, okay, I had a slider here. So how do I create a slider? Simple. Same thing, rectangle tool, hit or the R key on your keyboard. I draw my rectangle tool, and I'm doing 320 by, am I doing by 240? 320 by 240. And then my corner radius is 8. My corner radius is 8. And bringing it up here. Okay, let me reduce this. Let me make it 200. Okay. Now, how did I get my arrow button? I have arrow buttons here. How did I get my arrow buttons? I just plug in the plugins. I have feather icon, iconify, icon styles, material design icons, Unsplash, and all this ones. You can use any of them. I think what I chose was feather icons. Just wait for it to load. What I chose was feather icons. and then I just chose left, type left, and okay, I didn't use feather icon because mine had circles. Well, I'm not going to use one with circles, right? So I'm just going to click on this and drag it. Possibly it didn't come out, so I just click on it once. Yeah. Let me delete that and do it again. I just click on it once and it appears, right? So I come here, and it should be a component. So because it's going to be a component, I'm going to turn it into a component. I'm going to send it to my component page, and then I'm going to bring it back from local component here. Alright, so I want to do that center of this to be centralized on this rectangle. So I'll click that, so I'll first click on it, then click on the rectangle, and then vertically align the centers, and then I want it to be there, just at the edge there. Then I could copy and paste, and then change the rotation to 180. Or you could just use to import the right, the one for the right, anyone you feel like. Now I'm going to make mine white color, fill of white, but in this case it's stroke. So I'm going to make the stroke white. There we go. Now because I'm going to be having multiple things sliding in, so I'm just going to create small ellipses, 8 by 8, and the field is going to be white, right? Oh yeah, I completely forgot. Well, you can still use gray. This C4 is still good. So I'm going to create this, and I'm going to create 4 of this, 4 extra ones, because I want to use 5 of it. Right, so now this is white at 100%. So I'm just going to make this white at 80%, because I like to play around. I make this one to white at 60, make this white at 40, and I make this white at 20. Just because I want to play around. Basically, if you are designing it, it would be nice to play around something, but it's just that we should not play too much. Okay, so now I've done this, and then I want this to be 8 from here. So if I press my Alt, I find out it's just 4. So I try to make that 8. And then I am almost done with my home page, except for something is missing. First and foremost, I have to let me group these guys, and then let me auto layout these guys. If I auto lay this out, yeah, this is supposed to be 48, and then I also lay them out. Auto layout, make it centered, and then I add a padding, get my padding of 8. Make my padding 8. Then next up, I'm supposed to create a bottom navigation bar. So how do I do that? I'm going to use a frame. I'm going to use a frame. The frame is going to be this side. I'll create a manual frame myself, and I'm going to make the height 80 and the width of this particular one here. So next, when I'm done with that, and for me, my own bottom navigation bar has 4 buttons. So I'm just going to create 4 rectangles of 40 each, corner radius 8. Is it 40? Let's make it 48. Yeah, 48 is good. Now I'm going to change my color to 81, 81, 81. And I'm just going to duplicate it. Right? Now I'm just going to select all 4 of them. Now you can see there's no auto layout here. So what do? I just press Shift A and automatically lay them out. And then I'll adjust my spacing in between them to 40. And then I'll center it in the frame. And then once I've done that, I would auto lay this out. And then make it centered. And then I'll create a component. I'll rename this component nav stroke bottom nav bar. And then I'll send it into my components page, and then I come back and bring it here. Then I do it. Right? Who can tell me what we are supposed to do here to ensure that this guy does not, so that if our screen size changes, this guy will also change with it? Who can remind me what I'm supposed to do? Hello?
I think it's auto layout area or something like the 4 corner. I don't know. I can't remember.
Constraints and resizing.
Constraint.
Yeah. But unfortunately here this time around, we can't do that. Right? We can't do that. We do it bottom and left and right. And then going to resize it. Okay? But then I'm supposed to have like a border between my bottom nav bar and my normal page. So what I do is I click on this and I click on stroke. I come to stroke, click on stroke. 81, 81, 81. But then my stroke is on every side. So what I just do is I change it from inside to outside. So it's on only that page. Oh, inside this one. Yeah. So it's on 41, 40. It's on outside now. Then the only thing remaining now is my top navigation bar here. And how do I do that? What do I do to that? Same thing, I create a frame. I create a frame that is 411 by 80. And then this guy here, I move it into this frame here. Right? Because it's going to be my top bar now, so I'm going to do that, and I'll just import my icon. I'll import icon with my menu. I'll import menu icon here. So I import menu icon, and what other icon did I use? I use navigation, I use notification and profile. So I just click, I just type notification.
Please, where did you get the feather icon from?
It's from Figma plugin community.
Oh, okay. So it's not here?
No, it's not here. So, and then profile.
Are there icons in this Figma? Because I was looking for icons. I couldn't see icons on Figma. Are there any icons on Figma?
There are no icons on Figma.
Are there icons on Figma?
No, there are no icons on Figma, except you create it yourself.
So how did you get this one?
From the Figma plugin community. You right click plugins, browse plugins in community.
Oh, okay. And then
unfortunately this one does not have profile. So I'm going to Iconify, and I'm going to use their own profile. And then, since I've done that, I come here. One of them a component. And then I made each one of them a component. I'll send them to the component page. Then my assets, I can see them here. Although this is not how they're supposed to look, so we'll just undo that. The bell on to icon/bell.